All right, let's explore one of the most fascinating what-ifs in the entire cosmos. What would life be like on a planet that doesn't have a star?
So, what exactly is a rogue planet? Well, just picture it a world that got kicked out of its home solar system. Now it's just drifting, a lonely wanderer in the endless, freezing night between the stars. There's no sunrise, no sunset, just the faint pinpricks of faraway galaxies.
Now, your first thought is probably, well, it's gotta be a frozen tomb, right? No sun means no heat, no energy. But what if the energy for life doesn't have to come from above? What if the answer is buried deep, deep beneath a thick shell of ice?
Okay, let's start our journey on the surface of this orphaned world. It is a place that is almost unimaginably cold and pitch black. It's a landscape so alien to us, it's hard to even wrap your head around. To give you some perspective, 33 Kelvin is colder than the surface of Pluto. It's so cold that the very air would just freeze solid. Gases like nitrogen and oxygen would literally fall out of the sky and blanket the ground in layers of frozen atmosphere. A bizarre chemical snow. So this begs a huge question. If the surface is a complete popsicle, where in the universe could the energy for life come from? Well, it turns out there are a couple of possibilities, and they both come from inside the planet itself.
First up, you've got the planet's own internal engine. Just like Earth, a rogue planet could have a molten core that's constantly radiating heat outwards. Think of it like a slow-burning furnace, keeping things toasty deep underground. It's reliable, but it might not be quite enough on its own.
Now this is the real game changer. What if our rogue planet isn't totally alone? What if it's actually a moon orbiting a huge gas giant, like Jupiter? That constant, massive gravitational pull would stretch and squeeze the little moon's core over and over, generating an absolutely immense amount of heat from friction. So let's put these two side by side. Geothermal energy is like a planetary furnace. It's consistent, it keeps the deep interior from freezing. But tidal heating? That is a cosmic supercharger. It can pump out enough energy to create massive volcanoes and, most importantly, keep huge oceans of water liquid beneath that frozen, icy shell. Okay, so we've got a way to get heat and we've got liquid water. Those are the two big ingredients for life as we know it. But is life in total permanent darkness even possible? I mean, doesn't life need sunlight? For the longest time, we all thought the answer was yes. Turns out, we were totally wrong. You see, to understand how life could exist on a rogue planet, we don't actually have to look out at the stars. All we have to do is look down. Miles beneath our own feet, there is a whole world that is thriving, and it has never, ever seen the sun. Get this, an estimated 90%, that's 90, of all the bacteria and archaea on our entire planet live completely underground in something called the deep biosphere. That is just an astonishing number. Most of the simplest life on Earth is completely independent of the sun. And we're not just talking about a few tough microbes. No. The deep biosphere is a massive, sprawling ecosystem. If you were to take all of that life and put it on a scale, its total weight, its biomass, is hundreds of times greater than the biomass of all 8 billion humans on the surface combined. And look at the conditions down there. Total darkness, crushing pressure, intense heat, and barely any energy to go around. These organisms live on a completely different timescale, some of them taking thousands of years just for a single cell division. It's a perfect real-world analog for the exact conditions we'd expect on a rogue planet. So how do they do it? How do they survive? Well, instead of photosynthesis, they use something called chemosynthesis. They're essentially breathing minerals and eating chemicals that are released from rocks. This discovery completely changed the game. It proved that life is not fundamentally dependent on sunlight, rewriting the rules for where we might find it. Okay, so let's take that incredible knowledge and head back to our rogue planet. Now that we know for a fact that life can thrive without light, we can start to really imagine what an alien ecosystem in a deep, dark ocean might actually look like. The entire food chain, the whole web of life, would be built around geothermal vents on the ocean floor. These vents would spew out all the chemical food needed for life to start. Tiny microbes would be at the bottom of the food chain, munching on these chemicals. Then, bigger creatures would evolve to eat the microbes, and so on and so on. In a world of absolute, unending blackness,
The senses would have to evolve in completely different ways. You know, someone on Reddit had this really cool idea. Maybe they wouldn't see light, but heat. They might see their world in infrared, where the warm geothermal vents would glow like bonfires in the cold, dark water. Vision, at least as we think of it, would be completely useless. So instead, life would probably lean on other senses. Echolocation, like bats and dolphins use, would be incredibly valuable for navigating. And in a world where the water or atmosphere is very still, an amazing sense of smell could let you track chemical trails for miles. So that brings us to the ultimate question. If complex life can evolve, could it take that final, incredible step? Could it develop intelligence? Could it build a civilization in this endless night? While seeing is all the good stuff, the heat, the liquid water, is deep underground, any intelligent life would almost certainly be aquatic. You can just picture it. Sprawling cities, not built under starlight, but clustered around the life-giving warmth and glow of these thermal vents, their world's version of a sun. But man, their path to technology would be so incredibly hard. Just think about the unique challenges. How do you forge metal when you can't make a fire? How do you invent astronomy when you can't even see a single star? How do you even come up with the idea of a universe beyond your ocean when the surface is a lethal frozen wasteland? I mean, think about this. For them, leaving their high-pressure ocean home to go to the surface would be as dangerous as it is for us to go into the vacuum of space. They would need something like a personal submarine, an armored, pressurized suit just to keep from, well, basically exploding in the low-pressure environment up there. Their path to space would be so much harder than ours. And that just leaves us with this final, incredible thought. The existence of Earth's deep biosphere proves that the sun is not a deal-breaker for life. And if that's true, it means the galaxy could be filled with these hidden, habitable worlds, just drifting silently in the dark. How many unseen oceans, teeming with unknown forms of life, are floating out there in the void, just waiting to be found?